What's up guys, Master Colin here with this week's Taekwondo video. We're going to be focusing on something that I've seen a lot of you guys struggling with in classes, and that is our stances while we're doing our forms, and then what to do with our hands during our forms, or versus, I should say, during sparring or practical application stuff. So if you're in a real fight or in a sparring match versus what you're doing with your hands in a form, because they are two different segments of Taekwondo. So we're going to go over that, and as well as a definition of the stances and how to do them, because a lot of you guys are not getting them correct, so I want to make sure we fix that. All right, so first, practical application in sparring. What is that? Okay, practical application means fighting, defending ourselves. Attackers coming at us, we need to protect ourselves. Okay, sparring is organized fight with rules. So in Taekwondo, we are allowed to kick to the body and to the head at the higher levels, but no head contact at the lower levels. There is punching allowed to the body, but there is no punching allowed to the head or the face. And sparring, Taekwondo sparring, is different from a real fight as well. So we're going to go over a real fight, what you can do with your hands, how to stand in a fighting stance. Sport sparring, what is most common, most popular, what to do with your hands in a sparring match. And then last thing, what to do with our hands during forms, which is the art of the martial art part. So that is our art form, okay? So let's start with practical application, real life fight, okay? The fighting stance we do every day in class is for real life fighting. So if you're not familiar with the fighting stance that we teach here, it's pretty standard across pretty much every martial arts school, but we'll go over it. So you pick your favorite foot, you're gonna put that one in the back. For me, it's my right leg, but I'll showcase the opposite side so it makes more sense to you guys. So my favorite foot goes in the back. My body is sideways to present a smaller target to my opponent. My backhand is gonna cover up right here, just below my eye level, by my cheek, about a couple inches away from my face here. My elbow is gonna be in tight. So if somebody does throw a body shot, all I have to do is drop my guard a little bit to protect for that body shot. So this hand's here. The lead hand is again going to be in a tight fist. Elbow's again going to be down, and it's going to come out in front of your nose about 6 or 7 inches. Okay, so out here. So if I'm standing sideways, it should look like that. That is our basic fighting stance. This is how you want to be standing for a real fight. You want your chin down, so your shoulder is protecting from this side over here. This hand's protecting the opposite side of your chin. You're covering as many bases as you can while being able to attack, throw punches, and kicks. Okay? So that is your fighting stance here. Practical application, real fight. Now, sport Taekwondo sparring. Okay? The big difference is we don't have to worry about punches to the face in sport Taekwondo sparring. So that leaves us some options with our lead hand. Because we're not worried about a jab hitting us in the face, and everybody initiates with kicks, that gives us a little more, it makes our opponent a little more predictable, because we only have to worry about their kicks coming. The punch is not going to come at our face, so we don't have to worry about that too much, okay? So what we do with our lead hand in sports sparring, instead of keeping it up high, what we do is we drop it down, so that way if a round kick comes, it's easier to parry or move it to the side. So for sports sparring, we leave this hand out, maybe bent a little bit, and my shoulder still high to protect my chin just in case they do kick high. This backhand comes up here, and this is more of our sports sparring style. And for this, we want to lean a little bit back. So we're putting most of our weight on our back foot so we can play with that front foot, because that's our jab. Okay? In sport Taekwondo, we use our front foot to throw a lot of offense as our initiation. Okay? So our lead leg side kick, fast kick, stuff like that. So a sports sparring stance, we can play with our lead hand a little bit and leave it a little lower, okay? But again, that's only for sport Taekwondo. I wouldn't recommend that in a real fight. It's not going to be as effective as a standard fighting stance. Last thing, forms, okay? When you're doing your form, what I want you to focus on is getting your tight fist, which is fingers curled in, thumbs over top, okay? Getting that tight fist and keeping that tight fist. When you have it and you're not using your hand, meaning you're not throwing a punch with it, you're not throwing a block, or you're not doing some motion with it, then those hands should be right on your belt. So from your shoulder, straight down on your hip, with your, if I gave a thumbs out, if I gave a thumbs up, it would point straight sideways, okay? So I pull it back to here, okay? So while you're doing your stance practice and your form practice, make sure after you punch, you're pulling it back. After you block, you're pulling it back, okay? If, for example, if I'm doing a down block and then a punch, what I would do is I would throw my down block and the other hand pulls automatically back to my belt. When I go to throw the punch, I'm snapping that block back to my belt at the same time as I punch. So it would be down block, then punch, okay? So the big thing you guys are not doing is getting that hand back to your belt in a tight fist properly. Some of you guys get it here, but then you do this, you do this, you do this, okay? All of those are incorrect, okay? Pretend like you have two handlebars coming out from the side of your waist, and you're grabbing that handlebar right underneath of your shoulder, okay? If your hand is too far in front like that, it's no good. It's gotta be over here, okay? So that is what I want you guys to work on with your hand techniques. I'm gonna give you a couple of drills that apply those things, but I want you to remember, real fight. Both hands guarding the face, elbows and arms guarding the body, okay? Sports sparring. You can drop that lead hand a little bit to help with our parries, to push kicks past us or out of the way. And the last thing, for forms, getting our hands back to our belt, back to our waist. Okay, that's the most important thing. Everything else we can work on. Now, stances. I want to make this quick so that way the video is not too long. All right? Front stance. We're going to start all of our stances with our feet together. Okay? And I'm going to show you how to get to your stance from there. Front stance. Take both feet and make them as wide as your shoulders are. My shoulders are here. I look straight down. There are my feet in line with my shoulders. Both of my feet are pointing straight ahead. That's important. I'm going to take one foot, doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to take 2 steps back. So I'm going to step once, and I keep my feet pointing forward, and the width stays the same. When I step back, I don't bring it here, so it's in the same line as my other foot. It's 2 separate lines, and we want to stay on those. So we step straight back once, then we step straight back twice. Then I'm going to get my chest up, and I'm going to bend that knee. My back leg stays straight, my front knee stays bent. And then what do I do with my hands for form? Pull them both back here, okay? So this is your good front stance. Some of you guys are making your front stance really big, which used to be a popular thing to do in Taekwondo, but we don't do that anymore because it doesn't make much sense. So we're going to be here, just 2 steps, good balance, bend that front knee, get into that good stance. Okay? So again, 1 step over, 2 steps back, keeping the same line. 1, 2, back. Okay? Now, back stance. What you're gonna do, pick 1 foot, doesn't matter which, turn it sideways. So you make an L with your feet. Then you take 1 step back. Okay? Doesn't have to be a big step. Okay? Just 1 regular step back. Boom. Bend both knees. What do I do with my hands for form? Put them on my belt. For this one, my body is sideways, not square, because my feet are on the same line. Okay? For front stance, they were on 2 different lines. For back stance, they're on the same line, but they just point and make an L shape. Okay? So this is my back stance. Next up, horse stance. This one's pretty easy. Both feet pointing the same direction, that stays the same. We step over 1, just like we did with front stance. Then we're gonna take a 2nd step over, and then we're gonna bend our knees into like a half squat here. Take both of our hands, put them on our belt, and it's called horse stance because you look like you're riding a horse. So there you go. So both hands back, there's your horse stance. Okay? So again, feet facing the same way. Step over once, step over twice, bend those knees, pop your hands. Good. Next one is going to be cat stance. Okay? So cat stance, start with your feet together. Make an L. Take a little tiny step back. Lift up your front heel. So whatever foot's in front, pick up that heel. Bend both knees. Okay? Both hands on your belt. Now you're in cat stance. Sideways view here. Okay? This is my front. Make my L. Little step. Lift my front heel off the ground. Squat. Bend those knees. Now I'm in my cat stance. Okay? Now, for our drills, what you're going to do today, okay? One, I want you to move in your fighting stance for practical application. So your standard fighting stance. Move around in your fighting stance for 2 minutes, okay? Keeping that good stance, move forward, backward, side, side. Forward, backward, side, side. Then switch. And do it again. Forward, backward, side, side. Okay? So pause the video and do that for 2 minutes. All right, great. Next, we're going to do our sparring fighting stance. Okay? So body a little more sideways, backhand here, lead hand out in front of us. And for this one, what I want you to do is bounce on your toes and keep that fighting stance. And then you're going to hop forward and hop back. Hop forward, hop back. Then switch. Hop forward, hop back. Hop forward, hop back. Then switch. Okay? I want you to do that drill for 2 minutes. So pause the video, do that one now. All right, great. Next up, we're going to get into those stances. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with the front stance. If you don't feel comfortable jumping and getting into the stance, or you can't do that at home, all I want you to do is do the steps like I did before to get into the stance. Okay, so you're here. For front stance, you step out, back, back, snap the hands to our waist. Then reset. And do it with the other leg. Out, back, back, snap the hands to your waist. Make sure that knee's bent. Okay? So you're going to alternate legs, practicing getting into that stance. If that's too simple for you, what you're going to do is jump in the air and land in your stance. Then reset and do it again with the other foot. So pause the video and do that one for 2 minutes. Go. All right, great. Next, we're going to do the same drill, but with our back stance. So again, if you don't feel comfortable jumping yet, make an L, step back, bend our knees, snap the hands. Reset, make the L, step back, bend our knees, snap the hands. And you're alternating back and forth. If you feel comfortable, jump in the air, land in your back stance, reset, do it again with the other side. Pause the video and do that one for 2 minutes. Good. Next is going to be our horse stance. Okay? So, yet again, if you don't feel comfortable, feet together, step out once, step out twice, bend the knees, snap the hands. Reset, step out once, step out twice, bend the knees, snap the hands. Reset. If you do feel comfortable, go ahead and do a tuck jump and then land in your horse stance. Go ahead and pause the video and do that one for 2 minutes. Awesome. Last one, cat stance. For my white to orange belts, this one's going to be very difficult for you, but just give it a shot. So again, like what we did earlier, okay? If you don't feel comfortable, make the L, little step, heel in the air, bend those knees, snap the hands. Okay? Then do it with the other side. Make the L, little step, heel in the air, bend the knees, snap the hands. If you feel comfortable, do it in a tuck jump form. Knees up, land in your cat stance, and then reset. Start over, do it again. Reset, start over, do it again. Pause the video, do that one for 2 minutes. Go. All right, great, and that is our Taekwondo practice for this week. This is gonna be our last week of outdoor classes for a little bit, because next week we're gonna open back up and have indoor classes. I'm excited about that. Make sure you sign up on our website if you are an enrolled student. So you already have to be attending class to sign up for those classes. If you want to sign back up and you've taken a little break, contact me or Coach Dustin through our website. That's www.missiontkd.com. Again, I will have the entire workout posted in the description below in case you forget or you watch the whole video and then you're going to try to do the workout after the fact. So great job.